So in this video, we're going to continue with the lighting process. So if you notice my lighting setup, I actually made some adjustment to the lighting position. So in this particular light number 1, I actually push the light to the right and I make it bigger, and I also increase my exposure to 12.5. Okay, and when I render, I should be able to get something like this. Okay, now one thing that you notice that every time you change camera angle, okay, it's very difficult to kind of like adjust to the previous position. So what Maya have is that you can save the angle position by using this bookmark feature. Okay, so if you go to view and bookmark, okay, here you can actually save the camera position, in which you can refer to this later. Okay, so before you do that, right, you should find a very good angle for this scene. So maybe I'm going to adjust it somewhere around there. So once you're happy with the placement, then you can go back to bookmark, edit new bookmark, and then you click new bookmark. Okay, then you click close. So what it means that whenever you change the camera position, you can always refer back to the bookmark. Okay, so they will take you back to the previous setting or location. Okay, that's an easy way to get the same camera angle correctly. Okay, so I'm going to render this. Okay, so this is my render when the light position is being changed, and you notice that this shadow is a little bit too dark. Okay, that's why I'm adding like this third light. And if I show you the location of my third light, is that I actually place the light somewhere here. Okay, it's facing directly to the casino object there. Okay, the exposure for the light is 8. And if I go back to my bookmark and I save this in the memory and I render, okay, I should be able to see like a better highlight. Okay, so around this region it's getting a little bit more brighter. Okay, so I can also try to experiment. Maybe I'm putting a value of 10. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, it's better, right? So all the shadow is not too dark. Okay, I want to save this in memory, and I want to show you something. Now, when people do lighting, right, they tends to make everything very bright. Okay, sometimes they put the value too high, and that will result overexposed. Okay, so what it means by overexposed, that it's something like this. Okay, everything become white and the texture is washed away. Okay, and this is one of the common mistake when people try to do lighting the first time. Okay, there should be a balance between the color and the texture. Okay, now everything is washed out if you compare this to that. Okay, I cannot see the detail on the coin itself. So this light definitely it's too bright. Okay, so maybe a value of, let's try 11, right? Okay, I think it's okay. So a value 10 or 11 will be a good start. Okay, not too bright. Now, another thing that I want to do with this scene is that I want to experiment with the shader or material for this dice. Okay, so let's select one of them, right, and right click and then assign new material. Okay, this. Now, most of the time, people will use Blinn and Lambert, okay, as a good start. But in this case, I'm just gonna go to Arnold, right? And I want to choose this standard service. Okay, so this is actually like Arnold's standard service shader that comes free with Maya, and you can assign pretty like advanced setup with little effort. Okay, so if I render this on its own, so let's zoom in a little bit, right, and then render. You get something like this. Okay, but this shader actually comes with quite a bit of preset. Okay, so while this is being selected, I can change the preset to balloon type. I can change to blood, brush metal, or bubble, or whatever. So there's a lot of option for you to play with. Okay, so for this example, I'm just gonna go and choose maybe gold, right? Okay, in the viewport it looks black, but when you render, you should be able to see something like this. Okay, gold material with the accurate result. Okay, so little effort but give you a nice result. Okay, so that's how powerful the Arnold standard service shader is. Okay, so let's just apply another one, right? And maybe this time around, I'll just gonna increase my roughness, right? And I'm going to render and see what the results are. Okay, so at this stage, it's very plain, right? So maybe I'm going to change this to black. Maybe I change the color to black, right? And I'm going to reduce the roughness from 1 all the way to 0. Okay, so what it means that when the roughness set to 0, the object will become very shiny. Okay, very shiny and very glossy. Okay, so let's add a couple of more material to make these dies more interesting. So maybe I'll choose brush metal, render. Okay, not too bad. And one more time. Let's try ceramic, and let's choose a bright color. Render. Okay. Not bad. And for the last one, I'm just going to use the same gold. Okay, so this is AI service number 17. So it's like this one. Right click and choose number 17. Okay, and render. Okay, so I noticed that there is overexposed happening around this card region. So maybe a value of 11 a little bit too much for me. So I might reduce the value for light number 3 to 10 and re-render and compare the result.